What is up, guys? Let's do this.
Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here. I know.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, I've been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is what the other group had, the rental.
Oh, really?
They just ditched it.
Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. The other one.
It's truly for the win.
Disc that I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay, they all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
Oh, give some.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
And I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, you are. What is up, guys? Welcome. Saddle up. This is going to be very, very informative. Been preparing this live for I think like the past 3 or 4 nights. I've pushed back the Scott Coomer Green stuff because there is stuff that I have to attend to, and then boom, as I was going to be dropping these, I don't care. You want to call it a conspiracy. You can go ahead and call it whatever you want. Conspiracy is actually a crime, just in case anybody didn't know that. You can get charged conspiracy to commit murder. You know, that is that in itself holds its own charge. So you could actually not actually murder somebody, right? But you could be charged with conspiracy to commit murder, conspiring with other people. While I was doing stuff over the past 2 weeks, maybe a little bit 3, to prepare for how I was going to possibly stay safe and expose the corruption. How do you do that, right? I'm going to tell you how you do it. You stay public. You stay public and you keep pumping out the information. And then guess what? It's out there. When you have information and you keep it to yourself, that actually is keeping you in harm's way. When you have information, get it out there. It's out there. You know what I mean? If people know that you have things and you don't put it out there, you're actually fucking yourself. It's kind of like masturbation, but don't tell anybody. Feels good until you realize you're fucking yourself, right? All right. So, Brian Drake, Dr. Moore, 2 chiropractors in 2020. There was a murder. Brian Drake is found dead in his chiropractic office in Bonners Ferry, 2020. This is being, at that time, Bonners Ferry had it for just a couple hours, and then they said, bring in ISP. How I found this case is through Ann Taylor putting in motions and saying the name Tolson. I started researching who was involved with investigating and being in charge, because when you're investigating, you're gathering information, you're gathering discovery. It's then going to be discoverable when you hand it over for the defense. Now, there's pros and cons to being not picked up for 6 months after a crime would have been committed and say, hey, guess what? We're gonna arrest you for murder, right? During those 6 months, you have no idea that you're gonna out of the blue be, oh, they zeroed in on you somehow. And now all of a sudden, how do you go and get a great lawyer with a great investigator to go out there and get material that by all accounts is probably gone when you're talking about digital evidence because it's being recorded over. So here we have a situation in 2020. That's the Brian Drake, Daniel Moore, 2 chiropractors. What the state's case theory is that Daniel Moore, who has never even had a speeding ticket, a 65-year-old man, decided that he was going to shoot and kill Brian Drake, 45-year-old man, through a window with the blinds closed, and that he was able to sever and pierce his lung at an upward angle. Meanwhile, the trajectory through the window is down. Like, you just can't make this stuff up. But that's their theory. Brian Drake was stealing patients from Dr. Moore, even though Dr. Moore has hella way more patients and actually is running an up and up business. Now, 6 months would go by and nobody's arrested in the Dr. Moore case, or in Brian's case. Then Dr. Moore gets arrested 6 months later. And what they do here is, I'm going to share my screen. They put together, this is the state's case against Dr. Moore, right here. This is what they believe is going to convict a man for first-degree murder. And what you're looking at is all of these surveillance cameras in the area of where he was shot, putting on a timeline, okay, and then laying it out. And these are the times on the camera. These are the times that, oh, well, this camera was off because they didn't change it for daylight savings, things like that. And then the description of the footage that you're watching, okay? Well, lo and behold, they never knew that Lana Oriani was going to come along and just completely fucking destroy this. So much so that what you're looking at here, now this is Miss Oriani coming in town. And what I got my hands on, because ISP is amazing. Not really, but just like in the Brian Kohlberger case, the first search warrant that went out was, we're going to go get the a search warrant for cell towers. That's what we're looking at right here. We are looking at how it would look. So they went out and got cell towers for the IDAHO4 case and said, we want the time from 3 to 5 a.m. They put a search warrant in for it, okay? And then what it comes back is honestly, it comes back on an Excel sheet like this with a bunch of numbers, who was the outgoing caller and who was the incoming caller, all right? So this is what you're looking at, and I put it in a way to hopefully for you guys to understand this. So like right here, this would be the outgoing number that called, all right? And then this is the incoming. So like you're on a cell tower, and whoever placed the call from being on that cell tower, it then shows you what number they called, vice versa. Okay, that's how this works. The reason I am combining these two cases is because the same people are investigating the same, like it's the same agencies. Okay, you have local authorities in Bonners Ferry, you have local authorities in Moscow, but guess what? Those people were silenced immediately, and you have people like the big hitters. You got the feds coming in, you got ISB coming in, You got the sheriff's office in the different areas, and this is how they work. Okay, this is what they do. This is how they do things. All right. So Brian Drake was a chiropractor that was murdered in 2020. Daniel Moore, chiropractor, that 6 months later would get picked up, and ISP says this guy has never has a parking ticket, nothing. Doesn't know Dr. Drake, says, but you know what? We have to blame somebody, and we need to blame you. Okay. The person that takes on the case to prosecute it is a guy by the name of Tevis Hall. Tevis Hall just turned up dead a couple days ago. I started bringing the corruption with this case forward in July and August of 2023. I started going hard with this case, I would say October, November, December. I did a bunch of FOIA requests, but more importantly, a little birdie told me that Jennifer Drake, the wife of Brian Drake, was able to obtain from the Idaho State Police the whole entire investigative case. Here you go on a silver platter. This is all the discovery. Here you go. You can have it. Excuse me? Steve Gonsalves couldn't even get like a return phone call. But Jennifer Drake was given literally a hard drive with every single thing that they had in discovery on it. Now, once they did that, then someone like me could come along and get what Jennifer Drake got. Ta-da. So, I don't know if Jennifer Drake has anything to do with her husband's murder or not. That's not my concern, to be honest. I'm not here to solve the murder. I'm here to make sure that an innocent man does not get wrongfully accused and convicted. Just like in the Brian Kohlberger IDAHO4 case. I see fuckerage, I call it out. Now, let's take a look at something. You guys have been talking about the IDAHO4 case is, we got people talking about tunnels. We got people talking about drugs. Why would 4 people be stabbed to death? Right? Not just one in a house of 6, 4, 2 remain. Nobody calls 911. There's just none of it smells good. We haven't even heard a 911 call. We don't have shit, right? Okay. Now, if you want to understand an area that you're going to investigate and look into, you don't start with that case. You have to look at history. History is a very big part of an area. You know, people just don't decide to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bury evidence. That's not what happens. People don't just decide, hey, I'm going to start lying today. Woo, here I come lie. So I paid really, really close attention to Ann Taylor and the motions. And when she wanted to talk about getting training records for people, I went and I looked first at Ann Taylor and to see, who did Ann Taylor ever represent? What is Ann Taylor's experience in murder trials? Who the fuck is Ann Taylor? You know, everyone's like, Lana, do you have faith in Ann Taylor? Well, I have faith in Ann Taylor because I've done my homework on Ann Taylor. You do your own homework. You make up your own mind. But for me, I've done my own homework. And what I realized that Ann Taylor thinks about law enforcement in the area is that they are so inept, okay, that she would never say that you're doing something because you're conspiring with other people. You're just a fucking moron. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're not trained. You have no fucking clue what you're doing. You should not be in the position that you should be in. And that's me. And I believe that Ann Taylor looks at it that way because I don't need to say that you're conspiring. I don't need to say that. You're just not doing your fucking jobs, right? So Ann Taylor has had murder cases. She actually has cases where her client is found not guilty. In cases where, if you look at the public and what they thought was going to happen, that person was going to be seen as a guilty and found guilty. That's what I like to see. But Ann Taylor knows that these investigators, these detectives, they don't do their job. It's not our job to tell you why they don't do their job. But if I can just show that, no, we want justice. Whoever did this should be found guilty, should this, should that. But you guys aren't in the investigative stages of a case getting the right material so that we can solve the motherfucker. That is how Ann Taylor feels, in my opinion, based on the way that she works her cases. She believes that, I don't know what you guys are training these people to do. But it ain't working because they're not doing it and you guys aren't holding people accountable and shit's fucked up. So here we go. I researched Ann Taylor's, a couple of her past cases, and there was a reoccurring theme with that. Now we get to Moscow. Ain't going to be any fucking different because you're rolling with the same motherfuckers. Did they go and get so many more hours? Did they go and get some new training? What'd they do? Because I just had them in the last case 2 years ago and they couldn't do shit. So now all of a sudden they know how to collect evidence at a crime scene? Highly doubtful. So in 2020, after the Dr. Moore, Dr. Drake case, that was March of 2020. This is very important. I'm going to share a screen and I'm going to show you guys something that happens in October and November of 2020. Brian Drake lived in Hayden, right where Coeur d'Alene is. Do you know that Steve Gonsalves and Brian Drake have attended the same church? Brian Drake has a thing for younger hot blondes. He loves boobs. He literally loves the replica of Steve Gonsalves' daughter. Hot smoke show. Boom. There you go. I did my research and I saw that, wow, Heart of the City Church is where Brian Drake, that's where he goes. And they take in people that are what you would be called, I call them lost souls, but they want to be found, whatever. These are people that turn to God when they have to, because it's court ordered almost. They have to do something so that their parole and probation officer doesn't throw them back in jail. So when you have people that are congregating in a church like that, I believe in second chances. But when you overpopulate and crowd, and then guess what happens? Oh, let's start doing this together because this is all we know what to do. Things like that can happen. But I will always give anybody and everybody a second chance. But a second chance is a second chance. But you have to be in a good situation to even be able to take your second chance and be successful with it. You cannot ask for a second chance but be in the same type of atmosphere and think that you're going to have a different outcome. I think it's called insanity. When you do something that you did before and you're expecting a different result. Yeah. So now, 2020. Bonners Ferry has been known to literally pipeline stuff to Canada. From northern Idaho, comes on, trickles through. We're talking drugs. We're talking human trafficking. You're Canada to Mexico, you're going through Bonners Ferry. Sorry, but you are. And then from Bonners Ferry, you're going through Sandpoint. Sandpoint, then you can be branching off. Are you going to go north? Are you going to go south, east, west? Where are we headed? What are we doing? And then you got the California people that worked with the people from Idaho with the drug and trade in that business. Now, if you go and see a chiropractor, it's because usually like you have a bad back, something happened, right? Chiropractors can't write like scripts. So you can't go see a chiropractor like Brian Drake or like Daniel Moore and be like, hey, write me a script for some Percocet and stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. But you can definitely go and see a chiropractor and get this medical file going and that you're getting this treatment and that's maybe why you would then go see a different doctor and get X, Y, and Z. And if, there's some recommendations going on. So here we go, 2020. After the murder of Brian Drake. If you guys want to know how he was murdered, he was allegedly shot through his window in his office while the blinds were closed and somehow pierced his lung at an upward angle. Meanwhile, the shot through the window was a downward. It is a mess. That was clearly a staged shot. But ISP says, oh my God, no, he was shot through a window and the blinds were down and all this, blah, blah, blah. So they hurry up and they don't want this to be in any way, shape, or form drug related. They want it to be, why wouldn't you just leave a homicide investigation open if you don't really have somebody? Why are you like, okay, we're going to just go toe tag one of the best people in our community who has been like nothing but giving to the community for like 20 some years. Let's just go toe tag him with a murder rap. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. But I think Bella would agree if she was here, that they targeted Dr. Daniel Lee more because of his personality. That they thought that they could get him to say things and that he didn't mean, and holy shit, oh my God, overwhelming. But little do they know that Dan Moore is a fighter. Dan Moore is innocent as can be. But Marty Ryan, the assistant police chief of Bonner Ferries, he has got to be one of the most motherfucking stupidest motherfuckers I think I've come across. And I say that so politely. And if I ever have the chance to say, hey, what's up, Marty? I'll say, you're an ass clown. Like you're just that typical douchebag. So, because I put him up against all the badasses that I know that are Cleveland cops, and they're badasses. Marty, no. How do you have a Miranda violation in 2020? Okay, how do you do that? How do you violate somebody's Miranda rights in 2020? I mean, come on, man. Somebody says they need a lawyer, and you want to go over there and give them a blowjob. That's what it was like in this interrogation, which we'll get into. And then threatening people in bathrooms and stuff like that. So I wanted to get my hands on the cell tower information because it was so valuable in the IDAHO4 case, and I haven't even seen that. But they were like, okay, whoever did this would be pinging off of a cell tower right around the house, right? And so what are we working with? Well, in case they did from 3 to 5. In this case, they did 7 to 8 because there was a 911 call that allegedly took place at 7:29, 7:30. Okay. And so what I went through is I said, I want to see who called Boundary County Dispatch. Our 911 caller was Isaac Funderburg. Our 911 caller was Jennifer Drake, but she wasn't in Boundary. And then lo and behold, I find out that there's another Boundary County. See how it says Boundary County? This is calling 911. That or somebody that was there with their cell phone just called to talk to the sheriff or called to talk to somebody that works there, because there is a non-emergency line, 3151. All right. Now, you would think that you would see Isaac Funderburg and his cell phone on this sheet. It's not there. Wait, but he used the 911 caller. Well, I'll tell you this. He may be the 911 caller, but his cell phone is not here from 7 to 8, and he called at 7:30. His cell phone is not here. Okay? But my little brain saw a name on here, and I about fell off my seat. And that name is none other than number 14, Jacob Van Etten. Check this out. So number 16, Boundary County, number 16, they're saying that this person made that call because I Googled all this stuff and did it all. All right. Now, I want to show you though. I said, wow, that name is right on top of when this 911 call happened, allegedly. Or at least you're calling the sheriff's department, right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at who this person is. You guys ready? Drum roll. Well, Jacob would be none other than a confidential informant for Marty Ryan and Bonner County. Let's see. Boom. Take a look at this. Ready? April 7th, 2021. But it's from a December 2020 case. Plea hearings are pending for a Spokane man and a Sandpoint woman implicated in killing of Brandon Hurst. Now, I looked him up and everybody that he associates with, I would say about 50% to 75% of the people that he associates with on social media, and this is a guy that was killed, Dr. Drake knows them and has serviced them as a chiropractor. Now, then you scroll down here and you see this part. The girl who was a former boyfriend, or I'm sorry, she wasn't. Hold on one second. All right, so here we go. Let me scroll a little further. All right, so this Van Etten guy, Jacob, the girl, this girl right here, who is, what name does she go by? Cantrip Gattens. They lured Brandon, who was an ex-boyfriend of the girl, to an area where they lured him there, acted like they had car problems because they're all friends, acted like they had car problems. And then when the guy came there, then they opened fire on Brandon. Brandon was shot and killed. And they claim that they did this because Brandon had in some way was touching the girl and blah, 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 stuff like that. Versus like, oh, maybe it was a drug deal. Like you guys are arguing about money, but no, what the story is that the girl, here she is, she told people that this Brandon kid was like basically assault battery. Okay. And the girl is accused of luring Hurst to a remote location where this older guy, Mauser, was laying in wait to ambush him. Gattens allegedly led Hurst to the site by claiming she was having car troubles. Jacob Van Etten is the guy that used his Subaru, to pop the front hood and act like there was car troubles, okay? So Gattens' former boyfriend, Jacob Van Etten, testified that he played a part in the deadly ruse by raising the hood of his Subaru. Do you guys see Subaru right there? Okay. Van Etten told the court that a man emerged from the woods and opened fire on Hurst as he sat in a Chrysler PT Cruiser. I see the shots coming out, and then I slammed my car and my hood. Aiding that he got in his vehicle and pulled Gatten into the Subaru by her coattails. Okay. Van Etten, who testified in exchange for immunity from prosecution, said he was unable to make out the shooter's face, but admitted under oath that he drove her to Spokane to pick up the dude, and that the trio then went to the location where Hurst was lured to Now, just so you know, Brandon Hurst and Jacob are friends on social media. They know each other. Van Etten told the court he believed Hurst, also a former paramour of Gatton's, had attacked her with a tire iron and beat her up on a previous occasion. And that he thought that people were just going to rough him up, but then it went too far. In here, they just opened fired, shot him, and he's killed. So it was just supposed to be a rough up job. Now, does that ring kind of true with what people were trying to say about the Idaho 4 case, that it was supposed to be a rough up job and then it went too far? Hasn't that been kind of like a reoccurring thing that you guys have heard and said? So here we have a lure job. This is what you call conspiring to set this all up. All right. Van Etten, now they're saying he's 31. Before he was 38, he is. Testified that he tried unsuccessfully to talk them all out of doing anything like that. Okay. I was trying to change the direction of what was happening, what I felt was going to happen. He got what you call immunity. Now take a look at this. Authorities contend that Hurst was killed with a 38. Do you guys know what Brian Drake was killed with? Ready? None other than a 38. Now. Now going back to this. Okay. Again, Isaac Funderburg is your 911 caller. Isaac Funderburg is nowhere on here. This Gregory guy right here, that just shows who it belongs to, who the phone belongs to. But there is a dining that is friends with this group. So Van Etten, Isaac Funderburg, they're friends. Van Etten in the past has been known to sell drugs. A lot of these guys selling drugs, running them from Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Bonners Ferry, Bonner County. So now on this, between 7 and 8, there is no call that shows Isaac Funderburg's cell phone number, which the police put in as a 451 number. All right. So check this out. So then what I did is I went to the good old-fashioned sit-on surveillance and check it out. This is the day of the murder for Dr. Drake. Pay attention to the time here, 1842 hours, okay? Now, allegedly, this is off an hour, so it would be 1742, but just want you guys to go ahead and see something here. Do you see that, what that vehicle is there? This is what you would call a green, two-toned, a darker green with like a light tan Subaru. You guys see that? Okay, now. Again, that time, 1842 and 36 seconds. Now, same camera. Just wanted to get a different, there we go, just a different angle. You see that vehicle right there? That is Isaac Funderburg's silverish, which it's a Volkswagen, okay? See that timestamp right there? 18:43 and 39 seconds. Again, this is right where Dr. Drake was killed on the day of the murder, 18:42 and 36 seconds. You see that? Now, 18 43 and 39 seconds. So they're just like one after another right behind each other. See that? Okay. Now to make sure that, and to prove to you guys that that's the right car, I went ahead on social media and I took Isaac Funderburg's social media. Okay. This is that silver vehicle. His mom happened to post, Isaac Funderburg, happy birthday, love you so much. You see that German Shepherd in the vehicle with him? Let me back out so I can show you. See that? See that German Shepherd? And now take a look. January 17th, 2021. He still has the same car. See how the person took the picture from inside this vehicle at that vehicle. You see that? All right. Now, just to make sure if that wasn't enough, Isaac Funderburg, right here. That's your vehicle. You see? And then once again, here's another picture of the Subaru. All right. Now, where Isaac Funderburg's parents worked was the Kootenai County, like hotel where Brian Drake would stay before he then allegedly started staying in his office. You see that vehicle right there? See the Kootenai County Motel? That's where Isaac Funderburg's parents were running the sales end of it. Now, $1916 on the day of the murder for Brian Drake. You see that right there? Allegedly, this is off an hour, so it would be 6:16, just so you guys can see, in 46 seconds. But take a look. $19:15 59 seconds. The Subaru. $19:16 46 seconds. The shooting of Dr. Drake allegedly happens at 7:27 p.m. Now, they interviewed dog walkers. I found the dog walkers. 19:21 23 seconds. And then we come to body cam footage from the actual crime scene of Dr. Drake's homicide, where they say this was the blinds and this is what Dr. Moore shot through, these closed blinds, and happened to shoot through here, okay, with the closed blinds to be able to pierce Dr. Drake. Okay? Now, I took this picture for two reasons. The closed blinds from the body cam, and it's a bad photo, but it's the, you can see the what is it? After you shoot, it had the GSRs on there too, but it had the spring pop back at it. But right here, you see that right there? 1900 hours, 36 seconds. They didn't get to Brian Drake at 7:36 hours. They said they got to Brian Drake at 7:54 and 36 hours. So what I realize is that either A, you're lying about all of that, okay, or the body cams are off an hour as well. Okay, because this is them walking through after they found him and kicked the door in, allegedly. This is how they say that Dr. Moore shot through this closed window just like this and happened to hit Brian Drake sitting in a stool right by this window. And that's how this happened. Of which none is true. Now, the state's case against Mr. Moore is that they were able to follow his white Tundra truck and they have him driving all over and they don't ever see him or anything like that, but they use this to pinpoint it all down, okay? Well, boy, do I have something for them. First of all, people that said it was dark at certain times, we went back and we took this as all the times and how light it was, how dark it was on 3/12/2020. So there's all. So it was obviously still light when this would have happened at 7:27, 7:28, allegedly happening then. And this is what these are the coordinates of Bonner's Ferry at the location of Brian Drake's office. But went one step further and shows this. Now, let me print this. Let's see. I went back and I was looking to see if anybody that was a police officer had parked their vehicle, had went into Dr. Drake's area to, sit there, wait, anything like that. And I couldn't believe what I found. Let's see. There we go. Now, do you guys remember when I said that Jennifer Drake called and she talked to Brian Drake at 6:42 for 13 seconds? The Subaru and the silver car of Isaac Funderburg, if this is actually a correct time, that's 6:42 and 36 seconds. The Subaru and then the silver car are literally right after the call that Jennifer Drake had that she said only lasted 13 seconds. Okay. Then I was able to locate a white Honda Ridgeline that was literally right at the crime scene, right at the time of this alleged crime at 7:27 p.m., what they're saying. And I have none other than, here's the white Honda Ridgeline. And see how it's 20:19:49. So that would be, if this is not the incorrect, it says it's 8:19:49. Well, this is off though by 1 hour. And so it's really 7:19:49. Do you know what time Jennifer Drake said that the second call started when Brian Drake allegedly called her because he was done with patients? Was 7:17. And that they had a 9-minute and 15-second conversation. Well, back when I first heard that, I didn't believe it. Now I'm going to prove to you that I most certainly don't believe it. Do you know who owns a white Honda Ridgeline that looks just like this? None other than Isaac Funderburg's family. At 4:34, according to the body cams, or not body cams, according to the surveillance right across from Drake's business, there was a sheriff SUV that pulls into the gas station, acts like he's about to pump gas, doesn't pump gas, goes into the store, does whatever he's doing in the store, leaves, and then comes out. This is him, allegedly with the sheriff's department of Boundary County Sheriff's Department. Well, I think I know who this is, and I think that he retired not too long ago. Everybody seems to be retiring. This man and his vehicle go to Dr. Drake's right behind, where you have to travel through this back over here, the alleyway to go back to Dr. Drake's, right where this is leaving. This guy and his SUV, that's a sheriff's department SUV, go there at 4:30, and let me show you. I was able to get my hands on Dr. Drake's schedule for the 12th, the day he died, and everybody that he took on. Well, at 4:30, right here, it's a blank spot. He has a ton of appointments, but right here at 4:30, he doesn't. So if the state can bring up circumstantial evidence, so can the defense, so can I. My circumstantial evidence at least rocks tits off the map, because you know why? Because how in the world do you have all of these guys conversing on the phone that set up a luring ambush, pretty similar to what happened to Drake? He is pinging off of the cell towers literally at the same time that allegedly Boundary County is getting a 911 call, one of them. And Boundary County's 911 call that was going, because this is going in order, okay? So this is everything that was pinging off of the towers from 7 to 8. And allegedly there was a 7:29 and a 7:30 and a 6. There was 2 911 calls before Jennifer Drake, actually. And I was able to find none other than Isaac Funderburg is not on it. But we have Jacob. We have his buddy. And some of these phones, when it goes and it's registered to your parent because you're younger or you're still just on their plan because it's cheaper, which, hey, more power to you. It'll come up your parent's name, but it's really your number. And you're probably sitting there saying, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Well, all these people were involved with drugs. Drugs. And what it has to do with is you have your 911 caller. Why isn't your 911 caller pinging on the tower if he truly called 911 at the time that they're trying to say that he called 911, which was 7:29? Well, what if I told you that I got an FBI interview from none other than Stephen Hartman, who was questioned in the homicide for Dr. Drake? And he said that in his interview, Hartman stated on his way back somewhere around the top of the hill, which is where Drake's office is located, that he encountered a guy pull up to an apartment. The guy was in a gray station wagon. The guy asked Hartman if he had heard some gunshots. Hartman told him he hadn't because he had his earphones on. Hartman stated the guy had 2 German Shepherd dogs with him. Hartman described where the station wagon was parked. After Hartman talked to the guy, Hartman saw multiple police cars and an ambulance coming up the hill. So, like, 911 had already been called. Okay. I just did a new request to actually find out what time Isaac Funderburg, in fact, called 911. Because I have proof that off of the cell towers, Isaac Funderburg did not call 911 between 7 and 8 p.m. Next. Ready? Hartman then described the station wagon that the guy was driving as possibly a silver Subaru type vehicle. Now again, go back to this. He said he was in a silver car. He had some German Shepherd dogs. Oh, wait, let me see. Oh, that's what I thought. There you go. German Shepherd dog, silver, and it's actually, it could look like that. And it's funny, though, that he says the word Subaru, because was there a Subaru with him? Okay. Now, Hartman described the guy he talked to in more detail. Hartman said he was in his 20s, thin, with light brown hair, and a little bit of facial hair. Hartman stated he was using his personal cell phone, yada, yada, yada. Next, he says, Hartman described the guy as in his 20s and a smaller stature. The guy was carrying things into an apartment. Now, Isaac Funderburg was interviewed by none other than Assistant Police Chief Marty Ryan. During this interview that took place and was recorded on Bonner Ferry's police officer, I think it was Venezuela's body cam, that Marty just ended up using, not because he knew he was using it, but because Venezuela was running his body cam and he was standing right there during the interview. Which, based on the body cam, it says it was 8:24, but those body cams, as I just showed you, they were either off an hour or this whole homicide happened way before, and this is all staged. During the interview that Funderburg gave to Marty Ryan, he said that he heard it happen. He saw a guy that looked like an Indian guy or dark complected, and that he had all black on with a silver vest. That's pretty specific. He would literally identify none other than Caleb Kakoa Nazara. I looked and I said, holy shit. How would Funderburg know exactly what Caleb Koa Nazara, who was Brian Drake's last patient, how in the world would he know what he was wearing if he truly didn't see him? Somebody would either have to pass that information off to him to say, here, call this in, because we were watching the place. We know what the last patient was wearing. Call it in and say this. Or he truly saw the person. In fact, he said he looked like the guy from the Liberty who owns it and runs it because he's like a Middle Eastern descent. 3 months would go by, and Jennifer Drake, who at the time did not have the investigative material for her husband's case, she posts on social media. She posts on social media on her personal Facebook page the video that Caleb Kakoa's sister took that day while at Dr. Drake's office, because he's a musician and Dr. Drake was a musician. So he was playing him like a ukulele, blah, blah, blah. They're Hawaiian and they were whatever. During this video that's, I don't know, 2 minutes long, you see Dr. Drake, you see Caleb Kakoa, and then the woman is the video recorder. What Jennifer Drake does, though, when she uploads this video, every time that the video would go from showing her husband to then showing Caleb Kakoa, she blacked out every time Caleb Kakoa was being shown. I said, holy shit. I said, why isn't she showing him? Why wouldn't she show him? There's only one reason why you wouldn't show him. Somebody would have to tell you not to show him, or you would personally know not to show him, because his article of clothing that he had on is to a T the exact description that Isaac Funderburg gives of Caleb Kakoa and being the person that was running from the Drake building right after Isaac Funderburg heard the gunshots. And then he got in his vehicle and started trying to loop around and try to find this guy. But then he was gone and he couldn't get him. So how would Jennifer Drake know any and all of this to the point that she wants to not show Caleb Kakoa because he was wearing and being identified? And if anybody was to see that out there, someone like Isaac Funderburg, he would then say, oh my God, that's the guy that I fucking saw. That's him. That's him. That's the guy, you know? But how would Jennifer Drake know that to even do that? How does that happen? Well, either you're told to do that, or you know because you know, but you don't know anything about the investigation. She would have never known what Isaac Funderburg said that he saw. You understand that? This is like investigative stuff that this is why they just don't go day one putting out body cams and telling you everything that a witness. This is an eyewitness to a murder. All right. This isn't just an eyewitness to, oh, somebody stealing quarters out of a car. Now, why would Jennifer Drake ever say that her husband was shot through a window if he wasn't shot through a window? Because her husband would never tell Jennifer Drake, hey, oh my God, I think I just got shot. I think I just got shot through the window. This is what I mean by that. We did the measurements, the window, how tall it is, the trajectory, which, by the way, ISP didn't do anything. Wait till you see what they say they did, because I can't wait to show you. Because if this is what they did in the IDAHO4 case, it is the most grotesque work I've ever seen in my fucking life. Brian Drake had an upward angled shot piercing his lung, not a downward trajectory shot by hunching over while you're sitting at a stool. Not only that, but if you're sitting in a stool, if you got shot through the window, all the glass is going to come and you're going to have shards on you, and you're going to trample the shards. At least when you try to like get up, walk, and move, it's going to move. Like you're going to shake off some of that debris. Instead, at the crime scene, the stool has glass all on it. The shards are all on it, indicating that it would have been shot out afterwards. That's 101. Now, but Jennifer Drake says that she doesn't hear a gunshot. She doesn't hear glass break. Okay. And all the experts that I've talked to had said that if Brian Drake had his cell phone, he has plenty of time to call 911 himself. Hey, if he's on the phone with his wife, he just gets off and he calls 911. He would not be incapacitated immediately. Like you got a shun, in the head and you're just instantly dead. That's not what happened to Dr. Drake. Then you mix in that not only is there no glass shards and there's glass on the stool, and then the trajectory doesn't add up and it doesn't match, to quite possibly be that the gunshot was actually shot out inside to outside. But now we get to the, I think, most important part of the case, which would be where Dr. Drake was when this alleged not alleged, he's murdered when this incident first began. As a chiropractor, when you work in an office, two things. You keep your office clean, you keep your hands clean, you keep your outfits clean. Dr. Drake had on his back like leaves, like crumpled up type leaves, debris. I always say debris because that's an inside joke. Underneath his nails, there was dirt. Okay, all of them. But on his back was dirt, and like it was like you smash up a bunch of leaves, and you know that nastiness that you hate when your kid tramples in all that after they've been playing. You guys know what I'm talking about. That is all over the back of his sweater, indicating that his office has no debris anywhere. Okay. He has carpeted floor. It's all clean. Nothing like that exists anywhere. So how in the world would Dr. Drake have all of this debris all over his back? How would that happen? Well, it would be consistent with being and laying somewhere where, and possibly in a struggle on the ground and rolling around in something that you would get, we're not just talking about a little couple flakes. We're talking like take a sweater and have the whole back of it just be, you're making leaf angels, like snow angels, and dirty. Okay. That happens and is consistent with something beginning outside. Now, Dr. Drake was found, by all accounts, because they started their body cams a little late. He was found in his office, laying on his office floor. No glass around him, no debris around him, nothing trampled in. They try to make it look like that he just fell over from sitting in a chair and the phone's up here and he's like this, and I'm just like, are these guys fucking serious? Like, this is just 101. Like, you learn this in criminology classes in college. This is just wild, like, I can't believe this. To the point that this is how they were doing measurements. They took the hole in the window and took their little pointer and took the hole, okay, and was going like this with the gunshot hole, and not using a tripod to like take it all the way back, but you have these dipshits that are going like this in the hole in the window and taking pictures of it. You would do measurements to see how far back you were to get that type of an angle. And then immediately you would see that, okay, this gunshot has nothing to do with the crime scene, right? Nothing, because it doesn't match the crime scene. It's a red herring. It has nothing to do with it. It was after the fact to make it seem like that. But are you ready for this part? If that's the case, that means that Dr. Drake could have never told his wife that he was shot through the window, because he wasn't. Does that make sense? Dr. Drake wasn't shot through the window. So therefore, Dr. Drake wouldn't on the phone, because per Jennifer Drake's statements is that I was on the phone with him, and then he told me, oh my God, I was shot. Oh my God, he hit me inside. So now the question needs to be asked, how would Jennifer Drake know about the red herring literally at 7:30, unless you were part of the plan? Unless you were told that was there, because that is not how he was shot and killed. Dun, dun, dun. So this is what I keep coming back to. The moment that I want to let Jennifer Drake off the hook and think, yep, she's a widow. let me help you find the who killed your husband type of thing. I keep coming back to the lies. I keep coming back to the inconsistencies. I keep coming back to this is a staged crime scene, and Jennifer Drake knew what the staged crime scene looked like, to the point that she, on her 911 call, says all of this. Because if your husband wasn't shot that way, he would never tell you that he was shot through the window. He would tell you truly what transpired. That's why I don't believe that the 717 to 727 call that took place had anything to do with those two talking the way that Jennifer Drake says that they talked. That would be a really good way. And this is the other thing. Brian Drake makes a call. Ready? You guys ready for me to be just like, Lana, you a bad bitch. Brian Drake calls his wife from allegedly inside his office on the cell tower between 7 and 8, which was 717, right? Well, then tell me where the fuck that phone call is right here from 7 to 8 on the towers, you motherfuckers. Where is it? Because it ain't there. That cell phone wasn't there. That's what it tells me. I will take my $10,000 in ones, fives, and tens because I want to go buy some more FOIA requests. You guys understand that? If Brian Drake called his wife from 717 to 727, it would be on this. Do you understand that? He would be also pinging off of the cell tower. Well, guess what? Go ahead and look all up and down this mother. There ain't no Jennifer Drake. There ain't no Brian Drake. There ain't no call that originated on this. So now let's talk about the IDAHO4 case. I want to see those cell towers. I want to dig into that. I'm going to tell you guys what's up. Who was calling who? Where were people located? But do you understand that they had this sitting right in front of them, just like IDAHO4 has right now, right in front of them? You understand that? And they're all looking at each other like, oh, it's Brian Kohlberger. Oh my God, there's a sheath there. Motherfucker shit was planted. Because that's how Idaho rolled. Please tell me where on here from 7 to 8 is Brian Drake's phone call. Please tell me where on here is Jennifer Drake's phone number. When you want to fuck with the best, you get the best. I want them singles. I want all ones, stripper ones. Everybody's getting a lap dance. Now, do you guys have any questions? I go out and I get my work. Some redactive. I go out and I do my job. Now, I have a question because I know people are watching me that know Jennifer Drake and you guys are all friends. But weren't you friends with Brian Drake at all? I mean, were any of you guys friends with Brian Drake? Everyone talks about what a great guy Brian Drake is, right? Oh my God, Brian Drake's this, Brian Drake's that. Well, do any of y'all care about getting Brian Drake justice? Because Dan Moore didn't do it. So unless you want Dan Moore to literally own Idaho, you guys violated the fuck out of his rights. I don't know what the hell his attorney's doing, but he should basically already own Idaho. Where are his friends? Where are any of you guys that said that you guys were couples friends and probably swinging and shit like that? Your homeboy was ambushed, lured outside. Okay, ambushed, shot outside. That began outside. How do I know that? Why do I think that? Because I'm not stupid. That's why. That's how. His whole back has fucking debris all over it. And that, what was it? The garbage cans look like they were like kind of like disheveled a little bit too. Like something happened right there. When you have a fake motive, you can go down this fake story tale, like what you think happened to Brian Drake. No doctor killed Brian Drake because they were jealous. Brian Drake wasn't making any money. Brian Drake was a broke ass person. Okay. Let me show you what I got here. I have Brian Drake's Life 360 app. How it works, those of you guys that aren't familiar with Life 360, it's how you track stuff. All right. So see right here, that'd be like March 2nd, 2020. I'll show you guys something. I was going through all of Brian Drake's Life 360 app locations, and something really stuck out to me. I said, what in the world? Now, here we go. I literally have no idea what Jennifer Drake does all day because she just sent Brian around all day like a little fucking go get this, go get that, do this, do that. He's the one working. Literally have no idea what the broad does all day, except maybe does some yoga and shit. All right. So on Sunday, which would have been you guys go and get oil changes, right? You guys know Valvoline, okay? People go to places like Valvoline because it's going to be quick, right? Well, see right here, Valvoline. So I had to take this and I had to punch in all the longitude and latitude to be able to get all this stuff that I got. And I put it all in order the way that I wanted it. So like when I don't go live and stuff, guys, I'm not just like sitting like this on my couch. I'm like doing my work so that I can present it to you guys. It all, you know, it makes sense. Like it's like I do research. So you guys coming and watching this, it was hours and hours upon hours of research. When I say research, just like putting it together. So I went ahead and I looked at the date here. And as you can see, it says March 1st, 2020. So he would be killed on March 12th. Okay. Well, March 1st back in 2020 was a Sunday. And what Life 360 app does is it tells you how long you stay at a place and then when you move again. So I want you to see right here. See where it says 18. God, that's so blurry because I have to like zoom in so much. Hold on. Well, I'll just tell you. It says 1804. I'll write that for you. Okay. It says 1809 hours to 1946 hours. He stayed in the same spot, or his phone at least did. It stayed in the same spot from 1809 hours until 1946 hours. So that would be like 609 to 746. Now, the last time that I can recall, I've never spent a Sunday for almost, I mean, look at that. That's almost 1 hour and 45 minutes at Valvoline. Have you guys ever spent an hour and 45 minutes at Valvoline on Sunday in Idaho at 6? Now, why don't you go ahead and call up those Valvolines in Idaho in Coeur d'Alene and see if they were open on March 1st. Tell them to look at their register and see how many cars they took through. Okay. So I said to myself, what in the fuck is going on here? Why would Brian Drake go to Valvoline, okay, on a Sunday and sit in his car for an hour and 45 minutes? Because it'd be one thing if you dropped off your car, your phone comes with you, and then you're going and you could go around and do whatever it is that you're doing. But that's not what happened here. He may have went off and did whatever he was doing, but his phone stayed in this location. Okay, it was a Sunday, and I'm guessing that it wasn't open, but hey, you know what? I'd rather not guess. So I want the why we don't need to guess. Valvoline keeps great records. I want your March 1st sales receipts. And I want to see at what cars came through and who y'all dealt with. So I went and looked at the area that this was at. You know, like, God, does he hate his wife that much that he's just lying to her? Hey, I'm going to go get my oil changed. And he's like, I just can't be at home any longer. You know what I mean? A Sunday, March, just at Valvoline. Doesn't leave his car because then his phone and him would have left and that would have shown, you know, because then what it does is your next movement here was at 1959 to 9 or to 818. And it just tells you like it would have made a right on this street. You know, it just keeps on showing it because it goes up. Then you're going to be on this road for this long. Then you're going to be on this road for this long. This road, this road, this road. Okay. That's how Life 360 app works. So I said, you know what? It's funny that they put a search warrant in for the Life 360 app, but didn't include Jennifer Drake's phone number to get her Life 360 app. Are all y'all motherfucking crazy? Who in their right? Wouldn't you eliminate people? You don't protect people in an investigation. You eliminate people in an investigation. I want to be able to eliminate Jennifer Drake, okay? But in the discovery that y'all did, because you're investigating, you didn't even go get the material necessary to be able to eliminate Jennifer Drake. I know the truth hurts there, Rob. But I'm glad Rob feels some type of way. You know why? Because if you feel some type of way, why don't you go help your friend Brian Drake or, you know, he was murdered, right? You do know he was murdered. Let's take a look at this. Now, Jennifer Drake says that Brian Drake on Fridays, he would be at his Hayden office. On Thursday, he was at Bonners Ferry. So then, like, Wednesday, he was in Hayden. And so the day before his murder, I was like, oh, God, he must have had a lot of clients, right? Let's take a look at the day before his murder. Here we go. Oh, lockdown didn't come into effect until after this incident, actually. It was just kicking off. So if you can see here, it says 311. I'm going to zoom in as good as I can. So right here. So it says like 311 at 13:31 hours. Okay. So see where these gaps are at. He got to this would have been this. So this is Wednesday. See that right there? 9:28. He arrives at his office, allegedly at his office. Sorry about that. All right. So at 3:10, he went to bed at 10:17. And then right here, he starts moving with his phone at 9:27, 9:28 and some odd seconds, 9:29. And then he's in the same location the day of his murder from, it says 9:29 a.m. to 1:23 p.m. Okay. And when I went ahead and I looked it up, it was at this address, which I believe it was the Drake Hayden office. And, arriving, he was at his office and then he was leaving. And I went ahead and I looked at Jen Drake texting him and saying, hey, let me know when you leave there. Let me know when you leave work. He never texts her, though, that he ever left work. Maybe they talked on the phone or whatever. But then he starts running a bunch of errands in Coeur d'Alene. And they would be right here. Okay. So what this is these are all the coordinates of him driving around. And then one of his stops was this Cisco's in Hayden. It's across from a wellness center. Then he's driving on Government Way, driving on North Government Way by Valvoline. And then he goes to Office Max and he picks up an order. And he gets there and he's at Office Max at roughly, 2:18. Okay. What I noticed, though, that he does is he then goes to his bank. Okay. In and by where his bank is the Idaho State Liquor Division. Okay. And now there is allegedly a big bottle of vodka that was allegedly found in the back of Dr. Drake's car. Dr. Drake's toxicology came back and it said that at the time that he was killed, he was legally drunk, 0.8 or whatever, or 0.08. So he was basically like drinking while he was taking care of patients, allegedly. Now, then he gets to the Drake residence here at, what's the timestamp on that? 2:40, or I'm sorry, 3:40. This is 3:02, and then He stays at the Drake residence for about, he leaves at 3:40. Okay. And where he leaves and goes is he's driving and he gets to North Idaho STEM Charter. That's where his kids go to school. And so he was allegedly supposed to go and drop. Jennifer Drake says, "Oh, Brian's dropping off tax papers, blah, blah, blah." Well, Brian Drake never went and drove anywhere near wherever their accountant was, but she's just, texting like, this is what's happening. That's not what he did. He goes and picks up the kids at North Idaho STEM Charter. She doesn't work, so why isn't she picking up the kids? She's just a stay-at-home mom. He has let me just remind you guys of this too. He has a broken leg. Okay, the dude has a broken leg. And so I'm tracking like which way he's driving. North Delaney Court, that's one of their friends' houses. So he goes over to one of their friends' houses and he's there roughly, I can't remember if it was like it's like just 10, 15 minutes. It was almost just like a drop off type of thing, or what it seemed like to me. Then he's back in the Drake yard / the driveway. Okay. And then he's back in his car here at 5:30. Because he is now going to be driving and he's going to his Heart of the City Church, I believe. I think that's, yeah. And so he leaves to get to the Heart of the City Church and he's there from 5:32. Okay. Because he's picking up, I believe, or dropping off one of his children at Heart of the City, where they're, they can say whatever the heck they were doing, but he was dropping somebody off at Heart of the City Church. Okay. Then he's driving on the streets and he's turning onto Drake Street. Then he's in his driveway. Then he's in his residence, because the thing tracks when you're walking and stuff like that too. Then he stays at home here. Brian Drake stays at home until 6:46 p.m., where Brian Drake allegedly gets picked up from his friend Spencer, who is Amber Vanling's husband. And out of the blue here, the homeboy and his broken ass leg, they're going to go to a bar called Caddyshack. Caddyshack, okay? And where I went ahead and got my hands on those receipts. Let's take a look. I wanted to see what card he was using to purchase stuff with. He goes to Caddyshack. This was actually their bill. Large parm fries, chips and salsa. Somebody that he was with had the Irish redhead. And then he had 2 of the Blue Moons. Okay. Their total bill was $30.25, of which they basically just split it down the middle. Spencer paid half, he paid half. They just said, here's 2 cards, chop it. Okay. And you can see the timestamp here, 8:34. The lady that was serving them printed out the ticket at 8:18, and she rang his credit card through at 8:34. Okay. The reason I wanted to show you guys that is to see how accurate this is. And it's so accurate. Okay. This says when they arrive at Caddyshack. 2032. You see that? 2032. See, 1848. So 6:48, they arrive. And then at 8:32, he starts to begin to walk. 1908 to 2032, they're in there. So it's like it's like an hour and a half. And then driving back to his house, 2044 to 2045, 2040, they're making all the streets, walking, whatever. And then literally puts down his phone when he gets into the house at 8:48. And wherever you set down your phone, because the Life 360 will also track if you're like walking and stuff. So he sat down his phone at 8:48, 8:46, 8:48. And it stays in that same position until 6:07 a.m. When that would be then 3:12 when he gets in his vehicle to drive to then Bonner's Ferry. And it tracks you literally all these little coordinates like 6:08 to 6:09 and 4 seconds. He was on this street. 6:09 and 49 seconds to 6:10 and 35. I mean, literally it goes every movement that he made all the way. So I went ahead and said, okay, how far is Hayden, where he lives, to his office? Because I was tracking. I wrote down everything that he went ahead and did. He stops at Ground Up Coffee. It's in Sagal. I'm guessing he got coffee. It's like at 6:56. He was there for approximately 7 minutes. So it's like he got off the highway 6:49 a.m. to 6:56 a.m. And then 6:56, then he's driving 7:01, 7:02. So what I was paying attention to were any big type of gaps, because this is just driving and making different turns if you were, or it keeps on updating where your location is. Okay. And if you're following along on all of this, then I got to the point of so 7:31, I'm sorry, right here. 7:40, and it says right here, 7:40, and then this says 19:31:07, but it says 3:13. Brian Drake's cell phone stays in the same position from 7:40 a.m. until 19:31, but on 3/13/2020. You guys see that? This is really, really important. So he's driving to work, and at 7:30, 7:37 to 7:27. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7:37 to 7:40. So for 12 minutes, something happens there. See, because it says, or I'm sorry, like 3 minutes. But his phone at 7:40 is something happens, because this man at 7:40, what it told me that at 7:40 he arrived, okay, at 6811 Bonner's Ferry, which is his office. And it never moves again. That means he never had his phone in his pocket and never walked anywhere with it. His phone from 7:40 in the morning until they took it, meaning ISP, the next day when he was dead. Okay. And they got to it, and then they were supposed to bag it in the evidence, which I'm going to show you what they did to it because they're fucking morons. So his phone was in the same position from 7:40 a.m. on 3/12 to 19:19 on 3/13. Now, if you turn off your phone, this app can't track you. So if you turn off your phone, it's like his phone clearly sat in the same spot, whether he turned it off at some point, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. But he had, just so you guys know this, he had his food that he ate that day in the car, in his vehicle. There was like a it was a cooler, and it was in the front seat. So in order to go get your cooler and go eat at lunch, go to your car, go grab it, vice versa. At some point, you put your cooler back in there. Okay. So normally people have their phones in their pockets. Maybe Brian's just the type to just leave his phone laying out. Usually people that are cheating and people that are really specific about their phone, they make it a habit that whenever they go outside or go do something, like their phone's going with them. That's normal pattern of behavior. And why I'm showing you guys all of this is because this is exactly how the data is going to look for the Idaho 4 case. So if you want to understand it, like I don't have the Idaho 4 case data, but this is exactly what the shit is going to look like in terms of breaking it all down and seeing who's where, what's going on. And the evidence, so Brian Drake's phone was allegedly on the floor laying next to him, okay? And this phone begins to move again on 3/13, 1919 hours, or 1947 hours. So 7:47, it begins to move. And so I start to track it. And these idiots drive all over the place with this phone on. You're supposed to like put your phone in airplane mode. So maybe it tracks during airplane mode or whatnot. So 1948 to 1949. So I went through and I looked at all these to see if there was any big stop, right? And I couldn't find anything because they're driving it wherever they're at. And then I get all the way to the last known location. And would you believe it? It just stops dead in the middle of the fucking highway. Let me zoom in. Stops in the middle of the highway driving. That's where that longitude and latitude is. It's not like at the address, like how Drake's address, if you punch in the longitude and latitude, you are literally in the middle of the highway in fucking Idaho on 95 coming back. Like, so was somebody fucking with his phone and then realized, oh, wait, I should put this into airplane mode. I didn't put it into airplane mode yet. But at some point, this literally, somebody disables it because it should be disabled. You would think its final resting place would be in an evidence locker, right? No. the evidence, that's not where this is shut off. Now maybe the battery died. I guess that's an option. A forensic person would be able to tell you that as well. But this also just goes to show you how long. When I told you guys that Drake was on that floor, they didn't bag and tag, they didn't bag this evidence, do anything. That stuff stayed there all night and all the rest of the day. And it begins to move at 1948 hours. So, then you're going to compare it. If I had the evidence slips, I would just want to compare to see what time they left and stuff like that. But this stops in the middle of the highway. Now, Drake would spend Monday nights up in Bonners Ferry. And I want to show you guys something on a Monday night, what it looked like for this man. Okay. So this was the week before 3/2, which is the Monday night. Take a look at this. So Monday nights he would spend the night there. So you would think like the guy would have movement on his phone. He gets up in the morning and he's driving from good old Hayden. Let's see. Right there. He wakes up on 3/2. Doesn't use his phone or just doesn't move with his phone on Sunday night at 8:30, 25 seconds. Wakes up, starts moving with his phone at 6:56 a.m. Then does all of these things as he's about to drive to Bonners Ferry. He gets to Bonners Ferry at 8:15 and 53 seconds. Okay. And then his phone literally sits in the same spot from 8:34 a.m. until 8:06 p.m. (8:34 a.m.) stays in the same spot until 8:06 p.m. Then he is crossing the bridge in Bonners Ferry and he gets to Mike's gym, where this is the place that he would work out. And then I said to myself, wait a second, how does a man, you guys are going to like this, how does a man who has a broken leg and is on some stupid wheelie thing, you can't go work out? I mean, I guess you could do your upper body, but like, it's just a whole pain in the ass. I mean, he's like literally hobbling around, right? Well, so I take a look at how long he was at Mike's gym. He got there at 8:14 and he left at 8:30. 8:46. I said, who the hell only works out for 30 minutes? I said, oh, hell no. This dude went and took a shower. There. He arrives there at 8:14 and he's leaving at 8:46, then gets in his car at 8:49, drives a minute there, and then he's back at the Drake office in Bonners Ferry, okay, at 8:53. And then his phone is there at 8, his phone stays in the same spot from 8:53 to that next morning in Bonners at 8:01. And then see how you can see he starts moving around with it, 8:01 to 8:02, 8:02 and 7 seconds to 8:03 and 7 seconds, 8:03 and 10 seconds to this. So it literally, when you're walking and doing your things, I could tell you everything that he did, right? So I got to thinking, and I'm like, okay, so he didn't go there to shower. He didn't go there to work out. He literally went there to shower. But his phone stayed in the same spot from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8:23 before he got in his vehicle than when he took his phone, right? Because his wife is watching, so like he lets her see some of the stuff, right? And then other of the stuff, I just believe he just leaves his phone in his office so that she just thinks that he's there, and because how can he not even be walking around in the slightest? Because I interviewed people and they said, oh, we would see Drake. He would get in his car and go over by where the church was and like try to like get their, what seemed like probably like the Wi-Fi. Because I don't know if you guys know this about it, but she had his like Google shut off because he was watching porn. It was just a big old mess. Talk about trust issues in a relationship. You can't have Google. Why? Because you're Googling bad things. Just ridiculous. This is a guy who was like a prisoner, man. I'm telling you. Straight up prisoner. Prisoner of war. Just very odd maneuvers. Just think it's just odd. Again. But so he gets up in the morning. And then what he does is then he drives to it would be like Wednesday. Because I'm sorry, it's Monday night. So on Tuesday, he has patients in Sandpoint. So then he drives to Sandpoint here. He gets to Sandpoint at 9:10. And then his phone stays in the same position from 9:10 until 16:17 hours, which is 4:17. 9:10. And his phone just stays literally in the same spot throughout the whole day. Okay? And I just think to myself, like, that's every day. It's like clockwork. And all I believe that's happening is he knows that he's being monitored. Why go to Mike's gym? He went there to shower. Okay. You can't go one day. You would have showered on Sunday night at your Hayden house where you live. You just drove out there. You saw patients. You're going to sleep on your pull-out couch. And then you're leaving in the morning to go to Sandpoint. You had to really go to Mike's gym to shower? Or did you really go to Mike's gym to shower because you are hooked, like you're about to go see and hook up with someone else? You know what I mean? That would be your reasoning for showering. You only saw patients. You weren't doing it. And then the way that he had his leg all wrapped up, I'm going to tell you guys something about that wrapping up. Is a pain in the ass. Okay. Like that takes a minute. I do believe he had another phone. They allegedly said he had 3. Now. But you didn't do any. Yeah, you saw your patients, but unless you're like a sweater, like, geez, I think you can like shower You took a shower Sunday night, especially just because of the whole leg thing. Like, I wouldn't want to deal with that's a pain in the. You should have seen this big entanglement he had. So then I wanted to know something that I thought was weird is why did he wait? So if his last patient on 3/2 was at 5:30 p.m., why did he wait all the way until 8 o'clock to go and drive to Mike's to just use the gym just to shower? Like, so he, ate at his place and just sit there. He doesn't have a TV in the office. He's just sitting there. Or is somebody picking him up and his phone, is just being left there and he's going and he's hitting happy hour with the guys. And then he gets back to after happy hour, okay? And then, okay, now I can grab my phone and go to Mike's gym, shower, or at least just act like I'm showering. Maybe I don't even shower, but so fucking Jen thinks I'm showering. And then, because literally, if you guys know anything about the Chris Watts case, I see like Shanann and Jennifer Drake being very, very similar human beings. Okay. To the point that they are helicopter moms. They are like controlling people. And, this is monitoring. This is a stalking device. You literally can watch this in real time and know where everybody in your house is. But normally if you have a Life 360 app like this, your whole family is on it. So my question is okay, Jen, where's your Life 360 app from the same amount of time period? Why wouldn't the police go and get that? Anybody that's investigating a husband being murdered and there's $1 million life insurance policy out there, let's just put our search warrant in for Brian's information. And do you guys want to know when they put this search warrant in? He was murdered March 12th, 2020. They put this in July 12th, 2020. What the fuck? This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. Van Leuven. You guys are just a bunch of fucking ass clowns, man. Why did you wait so long to put in a search warrant for your murder victim's cellular device for the Life 360 app? How could you even be investigating the case? Like, you would want to know the guy's patterns. Like, I did this all in like a day. Like, this is just. Do you understand that they've never even looked at this, the prosecution, nor have the, meanwhile, they're over there saying that, what's his name? Dan Moore had a gas leak and oh my God, he planned the gas leak because he was trying to commit suicide because he felt so guilty for killing Dr. Drake. That's what he says. That wasn't a gas leak. He tried to kill himself. That's why there was a gas leak. Really, because all the women in the office, they all filled out like affidavits and stuff that said we have been complaining of headaches for the past week because the gas was just leaking. And here, these cops that are investigating the Idaho 4 case put in documentation that gas leak was just a couple days after you murdered Drake because you felt guilty and so you tried to commit suicide. Wait, no, there's been a gas leak for the past week. There was somebody like using a jackhammer and everything was falling off the walls in his office over there. In Idaho, they were doing something, they were fixing something, and it just was wrecking his building. And this Keystone cop comes in and is like, hey, I'm just going to tell you more. You killed him, but I don't think you meant to kill him. And I think then you felt guilty about it. And then so you tried to kill yourself. Excuse me? This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation. What are you talking about? Yeah, that gas leak at your building that just happened to be a couple days after the homicide. No, that gas leak was before actually the homicide. They didn't know. People started getting headaches. He went there, passed out from it, got a concussion. Okay. And his friend, the coroner, found him. Nope. You tried to commit suicide. He just bought a home. Like, dude, you have to have like good intuition. You have to have common sense. How do you, that's like part of being a police officer and a detective. I mean, I cannot wait to show you guys this interrogation in its entirety. You never sit a suspect by the door. They sat Dr. Moore right by the door. You're supposed to keep your eyes on the suspect and pay attention when you have two twiddle-dees going at, the interviewee. No. Tolson's got us laying like this, doing this stuff, looking all over. Van Leuven is just it's gonna be comedy hour when I decide to play that. I just hope that Dr. Moore takes them for everything they're fucking worth. But these are the people that are investigating the Idaho 4 case. Now, going to the Idaho 4 case, show you guys some. Oh, and by the way, I started, like I said, uncovering all of this, bringing it to light, and the prosecutor that's supposed to be prosecuting this case that said that he was still going to be moving forward in some capacity at some point to get the evidence necessary to come after Dan Moore. He was just found dead on the side of the road on Sunday after church. Excuse me? He's 61, 63 years old. Alleged heart attack. He pulled himself over to the side of the road. This is Prosecutor Tevis Hall, who is the prosecutor in this case, who I believe knew everything to do with the fuckerage around this case. He is found literally Sunday on the side of the road, dead from apparent heart attack. And they're not going to do an alleged, from what I've heard right now, they're not going to do an autopsy report. They're not going to go do an autopsy on him. No toxicology, nothing. It was just, he's a bigger guy or something like that, and he had a heart attack. Excuse me? So prayers to his family. I know that he has kids, and I know that stress causes heart attacks. Well, these cases are very stressful. So not sure if you guys knew that. Now, I want your guys' opinion on something. Okay. Now, the day before Christmas is Christmas Eve. The last thing I'm going to show you about Mr. Drake. He went to Walmart, 12/24. Okay. Items sold 1. See that timestamp there, 13:53 and 54 seconds. So 1:53 p.m. Okay. And cash total was $21.08. Paid cash was $20. Then he used a card for $1.08. See that? Now, same day, 1 minute before, different receipt. 13:52 and 53 seconds. jacket, polar fleece, 33 something plus your tax totals 35.92, cash 10.40, change due 408. Okay, you see that? So 13.52 and 53 seconds. 2 items, a jacket and a polar fleece. Again, this is Christmas Eve, like last minute, gifts, right? Pays cash. Then literally just like is in the same line basically and wants to put this on a different transaction. And this was they're basically earbuds or whatever. Okay. And shop card redemption. Shopping card. Is that a gift card? Okay. So why wouldn't you just put all of this on the same transaction? Yeah, this is for earbuds, okay? So I'm going to show you guys just to help you guys out here with this time. Okay. So the first transaction is at 1:52 and 53 seconds. And he clearly has all of the items with him because it literally happens boom, boom, within a minute. This was able to be printed out within a minute. It means that it's already over with. So at 13:52 and 53 seconds, he gets a receipt for his purchase of a jacket and a polar fleece. Okay. Jacket, polar fleece. Gives $40 cash. Okay. Then uses a gift card, to then buy the ear pods. Okay. And versus just putting it all on the same thing, putting $20 towards it, and then paying the cash in the difference. So what it would look like is he wants to have 2 different receipts, right? You would go up to the cash register normally, and you would have your 3 items, right? And you would say, here we go. I'm buying a polar fleece, I'm buying a jacket, and I'm buying earbuds. Total is okay, well, I'm going to put $20 towards it. Here's my gift card, and then I'll pay the rest in cash. What is it? Boom. Right? This is Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Well, I have to have the earbuds. If I'm buying the earbuds for somebody that's in my family, I have to have the earbuds on a totally different receipt if it was, let's say, for my child or for my wife. And the other stuff I would want to be on a completely separate receipt because I'm not getting that for anybody in my family. I'm getting that for either, I would think for somebody else, not even myself, because if I'm buying something for myself, why couldn't it just all be on there? Then I thought, okay, what if he has one of his kids with him and the kid wants to buy somebody a gift? So I'm taking the kids shopping because they're going to buy some Christmas gifts or something like that. That's the only way that any of this remotely would make sense. Otherwise, I would think of 100%. There's, right? Right. No, right. Now, way too much trouble. Just stay faithful, right? But think about this. This man, he knew he was being tracked. Everything was being tracked. He couldn't be on Google. He had to be, everything. He'd rather just, dude, I'm not dealing with Jen. She goes through all my shit. Then I have this, then I have that. But like, can you imagine like this is how you're living every single day? Mark says they keep earbuds at checkouts for impulse buys, pays for order, walks by and sees earbuds, doesn't have enough cash from change of first purchase, so uses card. Yeah, they usually have the impulse buys. You add, you're right there. If you're already leaving, you can't, you're walking, you're leaving. I'm saying that your impulse buy you would grab it at the counter and be adding it to your purchase one time checking out. If you've already attempted to walk, then you have to get back in line. Okay, you have to get back in line, and there's no way that receipt would have been printed off in a minute. We all know how Walmart is. Right? Wrong? Maybe. Now, even when you buy stuff for gifts, you would ask for a gift receipt. He could have asked for a gift receipt that could have been totally separate. Hey, can you break those up on separate gift receipts? So then we come to this. Which is okay. Now on December 1st, Walmart again here. This is Tina. I love Walmart. Okay. 2% milk, 2% milk, mouthwash, and what looks to be what the fuck is that? I don't fucking even know. I can't even read it. JRG something daily. I don't fucking know. See if you guys can make it out. I'll zoom it in. All right. Walmart getting some free advertising, man. Yeah, look at that. If you're buying a fleece and a jacket and that stuff, if you bought it for another woman or another person, I just believe it can't be on your receipt because, but it was found in his wallet. Don't know. Hold on one second. I want you guys to see this though. I ran up to Walmart to buy milk and mouthwash and something else at $7.57. That would be, is that AM or PM? We're about to have a field day with this one. Okay, you guys are going to love this. So go ahead and look at December 1st of 2019. What day of the week is that? Jargon's Daily Lotion. Yep. There you go. Let's see. December 1st, 2019, day of the week. Yeah. Is it a Monday? So Mondays, remember, he drives out to Bonner's Ferry, and he has patients on Monday, and then he sleeps in Bonner's Ferry on Monday. Okay. So in the morning, he stops, takes up 2 things of milk, mouthwash, and some lotion. Okay. Now, some of you guys that are from Idaho, here you go. There's a place called Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. Okay. And on December 21st, 2019, is it Friday? You better know if it's Friday or not, because it's really, really important. This is Tina with what the fuck. Now, those of you guys that are from Idaho, you guys will know this Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. Here we go. And on December 21st, 2019, Brian Drake went and bought at the grocery store brownie thing, goose kettle corn, pistachios, sweet and sour or sweet and spicy bar, frozen, chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie. What is HBC? And then wine. Okay. Now, mind you, Brian has a wife and 4 children. A wife and 4 children. And what I see being purchased here is 2 meals for 2 people, right? Then some snacks for those 2 people at like a hotel, and then some wine. Health and body care. Okay, so what is that? Anybody want to look that up? This looks to me like this is a date. Okay. Is it condoms? Can you guys look that up for me? Come on. I'm gonna have to call Grocery Outlet. I'm gonna give you guys a SKU number. Can you run this and let me know what this is? Let's see. Schmidt's deodorant. Bought 2 things of deodorant. One for a man, one for a woman. Okay. So, hold on. This was purchased with his credit card, not with the debit card, so it wouldn't be on the debit. She wouldn't be able to see, like, this is the credit card purchase. And $53.96. It's deodorant, silly. Okay, so do you think that's one for the girls and one for the boys? This is just a very interesting what you went to go get. Does this look like a date night? It looks like a date night to me. Right? Okay. That's what I say, right? 15:36 p.m. Go to pick up it, and right here, see 15:36. So you're looking at. I decided at 3:58 p.m. to go. No, it's condoms. I checked the. You guys. Now. December, yeah. Saturday, December 21st, 3:56 p.m. So maybe they were having date night. And then we get to the good stuff. Oh, let's go with. All right, here we go. Dockside, Coeur d'Alene Resort. December 1st at 6:41 p.m. Small fry, add bacon and cheese. Small fry, add bacon and cheese. 1 Huck cobbler, 1 latte vanilla no chocolate, 1 latte vanilla no chocolate. 2 people, right? Room charge. Room charge. They're in Coeur d'Alene. They're at the dockside. What do you guys? Oh, someone says I love dockside. So 7:33 p.m. December 1st. Where was he at earlier December 1st? Boom, boom. December 1st. Right, let's see. Where was this at? I know there was another purchase here. On the first, where are you? I just had you. Yep, here it is. 2 milk, mouthwash, and the what do you call it? The lotion. Put the lotion in the basket. Okay. So on December 1st, they got into a fight. He has to go get his own milk. He has to go get his own mouthwash. He has to go get some freaking, I don't know. And then and that night they go to the dock. He's at the dockside. Well, one 1041. How expensive is it to stay at the dock side? Anybody know? When is the last time that you've seen receipts like this? Tip miscellaneous $10. That's a pretty nice tip considering when he spent $40, he tipped $3 to the people in Cracker Barrel. But so then he's at the dock side, right? Don't know if he said, fuck, don't know. I mean, he's charging stuff to a room, right? Then they go to Washington, a place called McGinney's. I'm sorry if remember the whole swinger lifestyle I was telling you guys about? Where is that at? Where's my swingers? Here it is. Look at that. December 6th. What day is December 6th? 4 guests. They were there with their friends. I believe it was the Spragues, I think. Josh and Cheryl. And the police asked Jennifer, who did Brian go to Washington with? Oh, yeah, we went up there. We went up there with another friends of ours, another couple. Okay. So on December 1st, they're at the dockside. Then December 6th, they decided, okay, we're gonna go to this whatever this is, Washington. I looked it up, and it's like 3.5 hours away from Coeur d'Alene. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, where the fuck are these people's kids? Who watched the Drake's Kids that weekend? I'm just curious. Okay. Woodfire salmon, bison blue, clam chowder, and a Pepsi. Again, they sat with Cheryl and and Josh. They're big rock. They're starting like a rock band. So they go to Washington for the weekend. Then this is my favorite. There was 4 guests, and then they split it like into the couples. That's why it says split like that. Then they decide that they're going to go to Cracker Barrel at December 13th at 10:46 p.m. 7 people. Now their family has 6. Okay, and now unless this person, there's really not 7 people, but their family has 6. And the police again asked Jennifer, this was in there. Did you guys go to Cracker Barrel? Oh yeah, we went there. We went, who's we? So check this out. I said, okay, let's see who the fuck is there. Okay, well, now what is the 13th? What day of the week is that? Isn't that the weekend? Okay. So now this is going to be this is Christmas time. So French toast latte. Someone likes their lattes. Apple pie. Side vegetable. Iced water. Fruit cobbler. Kids dinner veggie plate. Stewart's root beer. Kids breakfast pancakes. Sausage. Stewart's root beer. Side vegetable. Iced water. 1, 2, 3 drinks. 7 guests. Okay. Like the weirdest order I think I've ever seen in mankind. I didn't even know Cracker Barrel was open this late. Guess it is. And then $3 tip on $34.40. Well, I can tell you, I don't want you in my section ever again. And then now, remember we talked about what day is December 4th? Here we go. Wednesday. Thank you. Well, here you go. 1:45 in the afternoon on January 24th. Homie goes by himself and has a Swiss burger, mushroom burger by himself and cowboy fries. And he's like, thank God. Give me some peace and quiet. Okay. Can we get a date on that January 24th date? He's in Coeur d'Alene. He just, gets to just go by himself and nobody asked me. Maybe it was split, but let's see. Eat in. It wasn't to go. It's weird. Then we come to Valentine's Day, and Jennifer was asked about this. Now, he has 4 kids and a wife. Sweetheart something, and then something and something. So let's zoom in this. So this is going to be interesting. She said, yeah, he bought something for our daughter. CD Val White, CD Val. I really want to put this in and see what those are. And then Sweetheart something. And she said, oh, yeah, that's Brian. He bought something for our daughter. Well, I'm just shocked because what about the other kids? They don't get anything. What about you? He didn't get you anything? I don't know. What time is that at? Again, let's see. $3:44:34. That would be after school. On his way home, picking up, Don't you usually give somebody like the stuff in the morning? I don't know. When your daughter, whatever, there's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jen making it look like relationship is all good. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what I see? I see the most fucked up shit here. I see a guy that hides from his wife where he goes. And I see a guy that she's like, I want every receipt. Like, because they have to they probably write off a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, who keeps all of these receipts at this day and age in their wallet? Who keeps all this shit in their wallet? You don't need this. You just use your bank card, right? Well, I guess if you're not using, this is the snake pit. 12/28/2019. See, this is more like it. Buying and spending. $74 to take out a family is more like it, Shirley Temple, Huckleberry milkshake, 1 bacon cheeseburger, 1 bacon cheeseburger, 1 mushroom Swiss burger, 1 Idaho nacho half, 1 mushroom Swiss burger, 1 huckleberry ice cream. And I'm sorry, but when I did my addition on all of this, 4 guests, like you have a family of 6. So I'm guessing though, again, you're going out with couples. Like you're, who orders a Shirley Temple? I would think like a little kid would. I don't know. And this was at 8:35 p.m. on 12/28. I just think that's rather expensive for the Drake family to be spending that type of money. Who the fuck sleeps on a pull-out couch with a broken leg? Okay. Now I have a couple questions for you guys that are from Idaho. Are you guys familiar with vanilla gift cards? Show you guys. Now, when I see all these gift cards, I just can't help but think about Chris motherfucking Watts and his gift cards, right? And he was spending his gift cards on Nicole Kessinger. You guys remember that? To hide it. So he was using his gift cards on homegirl Kessinger. And so I look at this, and Jennifer Drake is asked about these gift cards that are in his wallet. And you know what she says? She says, "Oh my God, he's had those gift cards forever. Those vanilla gift cards, his mom bought them for him. Well, these are expiring 2027. Okay, expires 2026. Now, mind you, this is a wallet that was taken 2020. These aren't old gift cards. Okay, Visa prepaid card, $200. Vanilla card, 100. Valid only in the United States, though. She's like, when they asked about all these gift cards that he had, like, who just has all this stuff, you know? Well, here is a gift card receipt recipient for $100 for Target. Okay. Then a vanilla gift card for $50. And she said, "Oh, that's from Brian's mom. Those are so old." Visa prepaid card. And then another vanilla one for 100. With that, we're going to call it a night because, no, we're not going to call it a night. Join me back in 20 minutes to do members only when I show you guys Kohlberger Pimpin' with the house and Brian Kohlberger's white Honda Elantra and how it could possibly have been tracked, and the breaking news that there's a device on the Elantra, a 2015 model, that is this what Steve Gonsalves is talking about? So the members get to hear it first, but I will have again tomorrow to chat about, and I'm going to show you guys the little black box. But all of this right here, this is data that you should be scouring through to be able to prove that Brian Kohlberger was exactly where you say he was. Fuck his phone. There's other ways to do things, right? It's 2023. See you back in about 30. Kohlberger Pimpin'. This November 29th, 4 people that were murdered.